So, is a physical therapy residency too expensive? So, this is a question I love asking students, right? Because we tend not to think about this too much, right? As a student, you're used to not only making $0, but also losing tens and thousands of dollars every year, right? So, as a physical therapy student, you're falling into debt big time. We don't think about this until we graduate, right? And one of the thoughts with the residency is that, oh, well, I'm not used to making any money as a student. So when I become a resident and I'm not making that much money, it won't make much difference to me because I'm used to living on $0 and I'm already used to spending very little on a regular basis. And I get it. And I'll be honest, that's a decent mentality to go with when you start your residency because you're going to have a lot of debt. And if you start spending a lot of money, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I want you guys to wrap your head around the cost of a residency. I'm going to try to go in depth on what I found, but just keep in mind, every residency is very different. So you're going to have to do your own research on the cost for every individual program. Okay. I put the link in the show notes, but this is the cost for the residency programs at Delaware. As well as at MGH. On average, you're going to be spending somewhere between 25 to 50% of your normal PT salary as a physical therapy resident. Okay. So, what do I mean by that? If you're going to be starting as a physical therapist in an outpatient setting, and let's say you get lucky and you start with a salary around $80,000, I would say that the average is somewhere between 70 and 80. I haven't been in the market for a while as a new grad. Okay. It's been a while since I was a new grad, so I'm not sure. But let's say you're going to be offered $80,000. Now, if you do a physical therapy residency, you might start somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000, right? Which may sound awesome compared to $0, which is what you were making as a physical therapy student. But you have to keep in mind you're actually losing $20,000 to $40,000 by doing a residency. So in my mind, the cost of doing a residency is going to be somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000. Now, the amount of money you make as a resident is also going to rely on how many patients you're seeing, how many hours you're spending teaching, right? And also going to vary very greatly based on the program that you get accepted into. So take this all with a grain of salt. Make sure you do your own research, okay? The other thing to keep in mind is that some physical therapy residencies actually charge you for the curriculum that you're receiving. And that can be somewhere between $2,000 and $8,000, right? On top of that, you might have to pay for books as well. So I'm sure that's not going to be cheap. And you also have to think about the cost of living. Okay. So if you have to pick up a move, you're able to, let's say, get out of your lease on your apartment because you might have to pay off the end of your lease depending on how far into lease you are, right? You might be month to month and you might be lucky. You might have to end that lease early. You might have to move to an expensive area, right? So if you're moving to Boston and you're living in the Midwest, that's a big jump in cost of living right there, okay? Which might not be on your radar until you actually get there. And if you already own a house, chances are you're not going to sell your house really quickly, move somewhere, and then pay for 1 year of housing so you can do your residency and then move back somewhere else and buy a new house. You might have to actually pay your mortgage and then also have to pay rent somewhere else. So I think that becomes quite expensive and something to really think about. Are you able to do something locally or do you have to move somewhere? So that's a big question mark. But the cost of physical therapy residency is potentially somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000 plus a curriculum that's somewhere between $2,000 and $8,000, right? So you're already looking at somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000 for a physical therapy program for 1 year. So here's what I want you to do next, guys. If you enjoyed this video so far, I have an entire course. It's free. It's called the Fitness Pain-Free Mini Course. And we go over 3 lessons going to help you take a lot of this information that we went over so far and put it into practice. The first lecture is called Why We Need a Better System. So first and foremost, the way we treat fitness individuals, all right, athletic people in the gym from a physical therapy perspective is pretty much broke, okay? So we need a better system to serve the folks that are in the gym that get hurt, they want to get back to training, all right? Lecture number 2 is called 7 Reasons Why People Get Hurt in the Gym. And essentially, we have to know the reasons why people get hurt in the gym so we can keep them safe in the future, right? And when they get hurt, we have to know why and how to get them back to training in the gym. Okay, so a thorough understanding of this is very, very important. I actually have a really cool infographic that goes along with this lecture that you get for free as well. And lastly, we go over a case study of how to get someone out of pain and back to training. So these principles are all phenomenal, but we don't actually put it together and you don't understand how to create a program to get people back in the gym and keep them safe for the long term, then we lose, right? So I'll put a link in the show notes for this. It's a fitness pain-free mini course. Definitely check this out.